Welcome to Rock Solid Productions, where in this video we are going to unbag and unbox the new Supa Retron HD from Hyperkin. Hey everyone, Gary here with Rock Solid Productions, and we just got this today. Ordered it off of Amazon. If you want to get one of your own, I'll have a link down below in the more info section. This is the Supa Retron HD, basically the 16-bit equivalent of the Retron HD from Hyperkin. This is designed out of the box to play your Super NES and Super Famicom cartridges. Unlike we have the Super NES Classic Edition that runs 21 ROMs. Great games, but you can't add anything more to it unless you hack it. This is designed to run your original cartridges from the 1990s and basically upscale them to 720p. So we are going to throw it on our bench. We're going to see what comes in the box and check it out. So moving in here, we are going to just remove the plastic wrap from the box itself so we can take a closer look at the box before we look in the box. So this again has the trademark Hyperkin dog ear on the page. Looking at the front of the box, it looks like two controllers come with it. Very similar styling to the original Super NES, although the power, eject, and reset, that kind of reminds me of the Super Famicom. 720p, 16:9 or 4:3 aspect ratios. Premium controllers are included. Has an Ntsc or PAL switch, and pin perfect technology. That's something they've really been working on to make sure that you get the best fitment. Holy cow, there's a lot of copy there. Nothing really on the sides. Looks like I'm going to channel my inner Sean Long here, and we're just going to use a screwdriver. There we go. Ta-da! We're open and inside the box. So let's look at the console itself, and we'll look at the other accessories in a moment. Oh, actually, I'm just going to pull this out, make it easier to maneuver in here. So here's the console itself, nice and wrapped. And you have the Hyperkin logo up top here. You know, the purple inspiration from the Super NES. On-off switch, eject button, and reset. It does also have the dog ear on the front of the console. The front has a Player 1 and Player 2 controller port. Looking at the back, you have a micro USB for power. Thank you! Output via HDMI or AV, 16:9 or 4:3 switch. And then on the very bottom, right here, you have your Ntsc or PAL switch. So one of the things I wanted to do too is kind of compare it to the size of the original Super NES, the Super Famicom, and what I've been playing on lately. So here it is compared to the Super NES. You can see it is quite a bit smaller than that, which it's pretty typical with these clones that you do get them quite a bit smaller than the original. Next up is my very yellowed but still loved Super Famicom. Anyone who's ever done any retro brighting, let me know if I retro bright this, if it'll do anything to... It won't bring this back, I know, but I don't want this to fade any more than it already has. So here you can see how the power switch, eject, and reset are all inspired more from the Super Famicom than the Super NES. And then finally, what I've been doing a lot of my playing on with lately, this is the Gamerstech 16-bit HD, and stay tuned to the channel. We are going to do a shootout between these two. But as you can see here, about the same length and about the same depth, so that's pretty nice. They'll both take up about the same amount of space on my entertainment center. So I'll set the console itself aside, and let's take a look at the controllers. And there are two controllers in here. You can see the second one down below. Here's the first one. We're only going to take one of them out. The thing that's interesting is I've kind of sort of used this controller already. And by that I mean it's pretty much the same design as their 2.4 gigahertz wireless controller for the Super NES Classic Edition. They've simply put a cord on it. As you can see, the button layout and configuration, everything identical between these two, which is good. I really liked the aesthetics, the styling, and the comfort level of this controller, so I'm very interested in playing with their controller. Now, in comparison, this is the Super NES Classic controller, and as you can see, it's practically the same size. They've taken a few liberties, like down around here, it's shaped slightly differently. The L and R are about the same size and about the same placement. A little bit more gray and a little bit more yellow here. I hope that color difference will show up. It does have this texturing or ribbing up top. So that's the controller itself. And it does come, thankfully, with two. There's the second one right here. And then you have your instruction manual. And let's see what's under here. This should be the last of our contents of the box. Very well packed together, I will say. Almost too well packed together. It doesn't want to come out. All right. So inside the accessory box, we have a whole lot of stuff. We have a power brick, power adapter. This is output 5 volts, 1000 milliamps, or 1 amp output. HDMI cable looks to be about 3 to 4 feet long. Your USB to micro USB cable for power, and it does include your cables to hook up via AV if you would want to do so. Now, one final thing I want to show you is cartridge compatibility as far as what you can all use with the Supa Retron HD. Of course, you're going to be able to use Super NES games. Ooh, that's a bit of a tight fit to begin with. And you can use this almost like the Famicom to shoot at people. Look at that. That's crazy. So, Super NES, not a problem. Let's check Super Famicom. Very solid fit. Now that one did not pop out nearly as far. There we go. Super Famicom works. What about the Super Game Boy? Because I know a lot of people like playing Game Boy games and Game Boy Color games. Fits and pops out just fine. What about reproduction cartridges? Well, we just happen to have the Joe and Mac collection here, and we are going to pop that in. This one, come on. Got to kind of find the pins there. This one, a little bit harder to get everything aligned, and I think that's because of just the shape of the cartridge. But it does fit. Now, one of the things Hyperkin does do is they talk quite a bit about their pin perfect setup. So let's just give you a look inside at the pins. And they look good so far. And like I say, it was a pretty tight fit with the cartridge. So hopefully that's a good thing. It doesn't wear out over time. And it didn't have that death grip kind of like what the Retron 5 did, but it was still awfully snug. So there you have it, our unboxing of the Hyperkin Supa Retron HD. It's a really well put together setup from start to finish. It includes everything you need to get up and playing, minus games, but it is compatible with Super NES, Super Famicom, and Repro games as far as just the fitment in here. The pins are pretty tight, so that is something to be aware of, and it will work with both Ntsc and PAL games. So I'm actually going to Germany here in a few weeks. I'm hoping to bring some PAL games back. Make sure you stay subscribed to the channel. That way when we do our full-blown review, you can see what it looks like. I'm really curious what the Supa Retron HD looks like, because the the Retron HD was a little bit of a disappointment as far as both the palette and the audio quality. I hope that they've done a better job with this one here. Let me know too if you have any questions down in the comments section below. I'll try to hit whatever I can when we do film the full-blown review. You can also email me with any questions at rocksolidmail@gmail.com, or you can send them to me on Twitter too, @RockSolidStudios. Finally, if you want, you can also go ahead and send any of your questions to us over on Facebook, facebook.com/RockSolidProductions. We'll try to answer each and every one of your questions that you may have. Finally, if you do want to help support the show, you can do so by supporting us on Patreon, just like these three guys here have done. By helping us out on Patreon, it helps us be able to go out and buy equipment like the Supa Retron HD from Hyperkin. So we are very excited to do some testing with it. Make sure that you stay subscribed so that you get the alerts when the full-blown review is up. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.